The Skyblivion developers, including Rebelzize, the project lead, answered many questions from the community and shared some new insight into the development of key systems. In this video, I will share a few updates. So let's get into it. So the main question that is on people's mind, everyone wants to know this. When will Skyblivion come out? A lot of people ask this question in their forums and in their Discord server. But we have an answer from the developers. We will make our release date abundantly clear once we are ready to announce it and make sure our fans know how, where, and when they can get their hands on Skyblivion. We know it's been a long wait, and for many of us, it's been a long time of volunteering. However, the project is primarily in final QA now. The biggest roadblock, the Imperial City, is also getting districts finished, which was the main delay. We're still aiming for this year, so you shouldn't have a ton longer to wait. We want to get this in your hands as bad as you want to play it. Alright, the next question is about the development phase. Is the game still likely in the finishing stage? So the developer responds, yeah, we are in finishing stages right now. We are wrapping up multiple parts of the project. We are trying to QA and finalize every interior and exterior location. We are trying to nav mesh all of these locations. We are trying to give the quest department everything they need to properly, test the quests in action. All mechanics are more or less in a playable state in the build of the game. We are getting more playtesters on board to help with testing. So that's about as final as it can get. Now, based on the comments from the developers, it appears that Skyblivion will launch in November or December of this year. As usual, I don't mind if they take their time, but at this point, many developers themselves would like to get it out. So I don't think we will have delays until there are some serious critical issues, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Next question, how big is the Imperial City? All the Imperial districts are huge compared to Oblivion. I think on average, every district is like 3 times as big as it was in the original game. That's quite a step up in terms of NPCs. I think we'll have to see how it plays out. If existing NPC schedules are enough to make the city feel alive, then that should be good. If we need more, then we can look into adding generic NPCs. I just think to an extent, I want to avoid using generic NPCs if you don't have to, because it's kind of like Elder Scrolls DNA, right? But the NPCs have names, jobs, they have lives, things to do, and all that stuff. And another developer adds, we've expanded the Imperial Isle more with additional buildings and farms, and our Imperial City itself has also been expanded and new features added to make it feel more like a living, breathing city. Now, we haven't seen the Imperial City in action at this point, but the fact that we will see a more lived-in Lake Rumare area is very pleasing. In classic Oblivion, once you exit the city, there is nothing outside the immediate vicinity of the gates apart from a stable. Rebelzize said in one of his streams that the Imperial City is planned by a real architect, which is impressive. I assume they are not blindly copying Oblivion's circular design. But I have a question for you guys. Is it really necessary to make every district 3 times as big as it was in Oblivion? If every district has a bunch of buildings we cannot enter and NPCs we cannot talk to, then why expand these districts? I would like to take a look at a wonderful classic Oblivion mod and have a discussion with all of you. So let's get into that. I wanted to take an example of a classic Oblivion mod called Better Cities. Okay, this mod overhauls many locations and cities of classic Oblivion. Now check this out. The Imperial City of Better Cities has so many districts, right? So this is Oblivion's Imperial City and this is the Better City's Imperial City. As you can see, the Imperial City of Oblivion had 6 districts, right? The Imperial City of Better Cities, the mod adds so many new districts like the Diplomatic District, Arcane University, Waterfront Tunnel, and more. Now, every district of the Better Cities Imperial City has tons of new NPCs, right? Wow. And most of them seem to have some sort of function, right? If you see, this guy sells generic ink and text. What is that? He runs a business called Ink and Text. So every NPC has some sort of a role here in this district, right? Let's check out this person, Yvonne. He's a herald. So he's not a merchant guy, but he still has a schedule, you know. Then you have trainers as well. This guy, Cornelius Cisterio, he's an imperial merchant who runs the Bank of Cyrodiil. So there's a new building called the Bank of Cyrodiil. Now, that's my question, right? Will the Skyblivion team add all of these new buildings in the Imperial City? These are new, right? Akatosh Apartments. Ake Apartments. Wow. A mortuary. A barber shop. Hospital. People's library. All of this is not part of Wild Oblivion. The Better Cities mod adds a ton of new businesses in Imperial City. So the Skyblivion team are saying it's going to be 3 times the size of Oblivion. It's going to be totally redesigned by a real architect. All of that sounds very impressive. But what are they adding? Are they adding like load-friendly buildings? Are they adding tons of new businesses? And are they adding NPCs who actually have a role in the city, you know? The Skyblivion team should look to the Beyond Cities mod design model if they plan to dramatically increase the scale of these Imperial City districts. Instead of taking inspiration from Starfield's implementation of nameless generic citizen NPCs, they ought to feature businesses and buildings that are enterable, and every new building should be populated with named NPCs who follow their own daily routines and schedules. Let me know your thoughts on the scale of the Imperial City and how the Skyblivion team should go about it. So the next question is, well, not a question, but more of a comment by one big fan of Skyblivion. This person says, I look up to you, and it's crazy how you have never given up for a decade now. So Rebelzize responds, I appreciate you saying that. I would be lying if I said there haven't been moments that I was pretty close to giving up over the years for various reasons. But yeah, this is by far the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Hopefully nothing comes this close because this has cost me some years of my life. I'm convinced that all the grey hairs in both the beard and the head are at least partially to do with Skyblivion. But hopefully by the release it will be worth it. If we can get this out in good order, this is an absolute honor to have been a part of. I will never do something like this ever again. I've learnt my lesson. In a way, it's 13 years well spent because thanks to Skyblivion, I was able to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. Sometimes it's important to step back and think about what these developers went through over the last decade or more. Working on massive multi-year projects like Skyblivion demands a level of endurance few of us can fully grasp. What begins as passion can stretch into more than a decade of unpaid labor, late nights, and constant technical and creative hurdles that push even the most committed volunteers to the brink of quitting. I think the personal cost is real. Years of life invested, task-related stresses that can add up, and the quiet realization that nothing else will ever ask quite so much again. Yet for those who push through, like Rebelzize and many other developers, working on Skyblivion can become the unlikely forge that clarifies purpose, turning youthful uncertainty into a hard-won sense of direction, and if the project finally ships in good order, a rare and lasting honor. If you are a mod author, I want to talk to you. This is very important. Are you working on a Newlands mod project now? Or maybe when the Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, will you get excited to work on a large mod set in a large world space? If your answer is yes, don't assume a large world space mod would take 4 or 5 years. Expect such projects to take 10 to 15 years instead. Don't make the same mistake made by Skyblivion, Beyond Skyrim, Skywind, and other teams in the Skyrim and Fallout world that fall into the trap of waiting to release until everything is done. These monolithic giant projects go on and on, causing immense stress to you and your team members. Instead of falling into this trap, observe how the Tamriel Rebuild team is operating by releasing an expansion every year or so. Dividing your project into multiple phases and planning regular releases will be highly beneficial for your project as you receive regular feedback from the community, and it will also be good for your peace of mind and mental well-being. Don't worry about the availability of voice actors. The community can arrive at solutions if any voice actor is unavailable in the future. Don't give excuses about making quests that take the player across the entire map. Observe how Beyond Skyrim Bruma and Tamriel Rebuild created engaging story content within a small region. It can be done. So if you are a mod author, please listen to this advice. Don't listen to me. Listen to legendary modders like Rebelzize. When he says working on a monolithic giant project is not ideal, then pay heed, please. Will Skyblivion have random encounters? The developers respond, yes, the team has started populating Skyblivion's exterior with random encounters to ensure the environment feels dynamic rather than static. The system utilizes trigger boxes placed in the wilderness and on roads. Depending on the player's location, these boxes spawn various small-scale events ranging from simple creature interactions like wolves hunting deer to more complex scripted scenarios. While many encounters are based on the Skyrim engine's template, they have been adapted to fit in the world of Cyrodiil. So the next follow-up question is fairly straightforward, right? What type of random encounters can we expect? So the developer responds, you can expect encounters like Fighters Guild members patrolling roads, merchants with bodyguards, pilgrims taking offerings and traveling to way shrines of the Nine, and even iconic Oblivion features like highwaymen, wandering minotaurs, and Imperial Legion officers on horseback. The developers are currently troubleshooting issues like NPCs failing to trigger correctly, or NPCs spawning with black faces, or having broken AI packages. The team has implemented random encounters in the Great Forest and the Jaral Mountains area, but many of the encounters still remain a work in progress. Now let's take a look at some of these random encounters. A developer was kind enough to show some of his work. Okay, this random encounter is awesome. On roads, you may find a couple of pilgrims holding baskets filled with flowers. How adorable is that? Those baskets look so cute! You can follow them as they travel all the way to the nearest way shrine. When you spot them, you could use them to find these way shrines of the Nine. Occasionally, you can expect scary encounters like a hunter transforming into a werewolf. This encounter will only be experienced at night when there is a full moon. Another cool encounter is with an orc who talks about the legendary Gothwog, whom we meet when we play Daggerfall.
I scour the land, seeking fortune for Gothwog. Someday all will recognize the true wealth of the orcs. You too seek wealth, do you not? May you find it, and may tales of your journey be legendary.
You can ask him about nearby treasure, and if his disposition is high, he will lead you to a dungeon. Stuff like this is awesome as it leads to a lot of emergent gameplay. Finally, this one is nice, where your character meets a merchant on horseback and a guard protecting her. We can barter with her in the wilderness. This totally reminds me of Fallout. This is great stuff. I was worried that the Skyblivion team won't have time to add Skyrim-style scripted random encounters, but looks like one developer is implementing a bunch of these, which is great news. The random encounter system is vital because it transforms Cyrodiil's vast wilderness and roads from empty spaces into living, breathing environments. Without this system, long stretches of travel would feel static and lifeless, just like classic Oblivion. With these encounters, every journey carries the possibility of unexpected drama, with scripted moments reacting to the player's presence. By adapting Skyrim's proven templates to Cyrodiil, the system deepens immersion, rewards exploration, and keeps the player constantly engaged, ensuring Skyblivion feels like a true dynamic successor to Oblivion. What did you think about the random encounters we discussed today? Are you the kind of player who walks everywhere, and does this system make you happy? Or are you a fast travel person and this feature is not of vital importance to you? Do share your thoughts. Next question. What's this new news about adding Oblivion's Persuasion Minigame? A developer responds, yes, we now have the Disposition Minigame in the build. The minigame itself has been implemented and is working nicely. So we see the minigame in action here. As you can see, we have the usual options: admire, boast, coerce, and joke, which were part of Oblivion. Each quadrant also has a corresponding NPC response emotion: like, dislike, love, and hate. You don't have to look at the face of an NPC like in Oblivion. Now, my opinion, some things really don't have to be translated between ports. This is one of them. This minigame is faithful, I guess, but it does not stop being lame. I'm sorry guys, I'm not a fan of minigames in general, as they take away elements of character skill that are always part of RPGs. But here it is, more player skill nonsense. Even the Skyblivion team wants to have the Skyrim's lockpicking minigame, which is so disappointing. Anyway, please share your opinions. Next question. Do you have an update on the spellcrafting system? The developers briefly discussed the spellcrafting system. While it was previously considered a cut feature, they now have made significant progress and are now able to include it in the Skyblivion release. Another developer chimes in. Concerning spellcrafting, there is nothing we can use from the old system that we made many years ago, as it was using a DLL and we don't have the source code for it. So this version will be rewritten from the ground up using the new framework. So the status of the spellcrafting system in Skyblivion appears to be touch and go, because they are building the entire system from scratch, and it remains uncertain whether it will be fully ready for the launch or if it will arrive as a post-launch update. Ultimately, it will be interesting to see if they can create it before release. But the fact that the team is willing to spend some time on it is great news instead of just cancelling this feature. Alright guys, with that we come to the end of this month's Skyblivion update. Thanks again for the developers of Skyblivion for their incredible passion and dedication. Do share your observations and thoughts on what we discussed today. I'd love to read all of your comments. I shall see you soon for another Skyblivion update. May the Divines watch over you.